Welcome back to the channel, the PROWIRC Method, where we discuss concepts from the book, Happiness and Well-Being Through Balance and Progress, the PROWIRC Method. Today's topic we're going to talk about is when you say balance and progress, happiness and well-being through balance and progress. Today we're going to talk about the progress part of that equation. So talking about the progress today is in direct response to a question that I was asked from someone who I know who is actually using the concepts in the book and staying somewhat in touch with me intermittently through email to ask me some things and has even called from time to time to sort of clarify some ideas. And I really appreciate that feedback. So I want to talk specifically about this question in the progress department. So what the person had said to me is, Ron, I get that idea that with experiencing progress, you get that feeling of well-being, and I've had it before. And the problem is I'm not getting it sort of consistently. I feel like I'm not, I think I'm making progress. I'm doing a lot of work and I'm working hard, every week, and I'm knocking some things off the list. But I'm having sort of an intermittent feeling with the, uptake in well-being or that kind of thing. Like I'm just not feeling the well-being from the progress, as though the way it says in the book. And, what do you think about that? So I immediately asked, great, what is it that you're trying to accomplish right now? What is it that you have been trying to accomplish? And, at that point, the person said, okay, well, they began to describe for me, a fairly big goal, a thing that they were working on, a project actually. And it was a project and a goal that was probably going to take about 4 to 5 months to complete. So it wasn't, sometimes goals can take you a year or 2 or 5. A person even goes to get an education these days and that can take 4 or 5 years. So, a goal that takes 5 months, it doesn't mean that, that's not an overwhelming amount of time. But, they described to me the goal that they're trying to accomplish. And I said, great. So just for interest's sake, what is it, what part of this is it that you're trying to accomplish this week? And they said, well, I've got a ton of things on the list for this week, and I've already done quite a few. And I said, okay, great. So can you sort of give me a few of the items that you're wanting to accomplish this week? In fact, are you planning to be working on this goal today? They said, yeah, probably later tonight. I said, good. What's something that you're wanting to accomplish, today or tonight? And they kind of stumbled on it for a minute and said, I'm not really sure. There was a lot of things this week and I've been checking off a lot of boxes, but I don't, I can't think of it this moment. Actually, at the moment, again, as I said, I wasn't feeling the progress and I'm feeling kind of lost in it. And okay, so that being the case, that's really the point of the talk that we're going to have here today. And what we're going to talk about today is this concept of sometimes when it comes to our goals and our life and our mission and that kind of thing, we need to really zoom in on it. And by zoom in on it, I mean, for instance, when a person comes up with the idea of, when you do your mission statement and you're clarifying those items, you're really taking a big picture look at your life. So this is the way you would like your life to feel and be and that kind of thing. But it's a really big picture look. You can't expect that you start working on that today and it's going to be and feel like that tomorrow or later tonight. So from there, you actually say, great, I'm going to pick some goals. And we use our concepts here in the PROWIRC method to try to pick goals that are in continuity with our mission statement and the way we want our life to see and feel. So we use our creative process and we come up with a number of things that we think would get us the payoff we're looking for and the experience that we're looking for. And then we actually, pick 1 or 2 or something, some main things. Okay, that's a goal. I'm gonna select this for a goal. Okay. So that goal in the case of this particular person, which was going to take about 5 months, is not something that you're going to be able to feel progress on a daily basis. But that's where we need to zoom into it. Now, the next thing that we did, and we talked about in our creative processes here, is we use our creative process to say, okay, this is that goal. Let's take a period of time here. Let's take 5 minutes, and let's think of everything that we could do toward meeting that goal. Every activity we could do, maybe everything we could try to learn, everything that we could try to organize, and that kind of thing. So we came up with a list of activities, and then 5 minutes was up, and we thought, okay, what are sort of 2 or 3 of the best or main things that we could do right away, to get moving on this. And let's say we picked a couple of activities, or one thing we could learn, or that type of thing. And so then we said, great, let's take this activity, and we zoomed into the activity. But now keep in mind, if the goal is kind of substantial, and even a goal that's going to take like 5 months or, a few months or a period of time like that, even the individual activities might take a week. They might take 2 weeks. It might take a month out of the 5 months. So once again, if we're selecting an activity that's going to take 2 weeks of maybe an hour or two every night, or however it is we're working on it. Some of these goals are things we're working on in our full-time life, but a lot of these goals and a lot of these plans and activities and things we're kind of doing them on the side of another job as well. So, these things, that's why the thing's going to take a few months to accomplish. But we came up with 2 or 3 activities. We thought, wow, that'll really help to push this ahead. But this activity is something that really takes you a couple of hours a night for an entire week. So again, we're getting lost in the thing. We're on a goal that's going to take you, an activity, let's say, that's going to take you a week to move toward that goal, and it's going to be a couple of hours a night. When you're working on it today, you're not going to be able to feel the progress on that. So what we need to do there is we need to zoom in further. So how do we zoom in further? We just take that same progress, that same process, and we say, great, so now that activity, what are all the parts that are going to be in that activity? Is there anything I need to do? Is there anything I need to organize? Little things I need to, learn? Is there any resources that I need? And take the 5 minutes. And so I'm going to take 5 minutes right here, and I'm going to blast all these things down to smaller activities. And so we do that, we zoom in further. Now, we're going to look at this again, and we're going to say, let's just take the best ones of these and the ones that think, wow, these activities would be great towards accomplishing that activity. So, are there any of these activities that I could complete in the time that I have put aside for that today? And if we say no, even these activities are going to take a day or 2 days in the evenings to accomplish this. Well, that being the case, we need to zoom in again. So this is what we're talking about. We're talking about taking that now activity that's a 3-day, that's maybe it's 6 hours, maybe it's going to take 3 nights, and zoom in. What would be a great order of operations for this? Let's do a 5-minute brainstorming session. What are the activities inside this activity? So again, this seems a little repetitive to talk about this, but if we don't think about this, and if we don't move on a concept like this, then we're constantly there with a big picture idea, a big picture mission statement, or a big picture goal, or a big picture activity to get to a goal, and we are zoomed out to the point that no matter what we do today, we're not going to feel any progress toward this thing. So we need to zoom in, and we need to keep doing our creative session until we get zoomed into the point where we can say, hey, great, you know what? Here's an activity. I can knock it off in 2 hours tonight. And that activity is maybe a part of another activity, towards an activity, to get up to a goal. You've broken it down. We've zoomed in. But when you go at that tonight and you think, it's going to take me a couple of hours. Now, you always everyone always looks on the positive side. What's that? Here's the thing, it's going to take me 2 hours. It's probably going to take you more like 4 hours. But the truth of it is, if you think, I think I can get this tonight, you might actually put in an extra hour on it. You might actually push it a little harder. You might take that activity that you called a 2-hour activity was actually a 4-hour activity, and you might be able to push it into 3 hours and achieve it. But the fact is this, you're able to go into it with that energy and with that feeling that, hey, I can do this. And when you get this thing done, you are going to feel that progress. It isn't going to be like the big goal that takes 5 months that you can never feel the progress from on any one given day. And it's really important to do this. Now, I'm going to give you an example from your own life that you can think about, and how you know when you haven't been doing this, when you've been looking at your goals and that kind of thing too far zoomed out, too far, distantly back from the goal, choosing activities that are bigger than today and all that kind of thing, and not feeling the progress. And how you know that is because there are things that you could look back on in your life right now, and whether they be, whether you look back 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, or even longer, depending on how old you are and how much life experience you've had. But all of us can look back to something, be it in a relationship, be it in our finances, be it in our career, be it in something we were doing, where we look back now and think, that's something that I changed direction, I passed on that, I moved away from it because I wasn't feeling any progress in it. But the truth of the matter is, when I look back at it now and I see where it would have gone, and, quite often people can see this, with their real estate investments, for instance. A person, they buy a house and they think this is going to really help me financially in my life, and I'm going to do some work on the place as I go along over a few years. I'm going to live there and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to pay the mortgage, and I'm going to have a lot more equity, and I'm going to do a lot better. So they try to see that progress that they're making with that financially in the first year, in the first few months. They want to feel it in the first month or weeks or that kind of thing. And instead of breaking that down and saying, wow, this goal was to be a homeowner and to do better in my life financially and, be able to enjoy my, my home, and that kind of thing. But it was a big goal. And in the first year of that, I didn't feel the progress. I didn't feel that I'd paid off very much of the house, and I didn't feel that I was personalizing the place enough, or I didn't feel that now for some reason it was going to get my goal of moving me ahead financially. And I thought, I don't know, maybe I should try to sell this place and make a profit. Maybe I should try to buy something else, and maybe I should try to do whatever. But if anybody looks back 5 or 10 years, if you have the option of doing that, obviously you have to be a certain age to be able to do that. This is just one example that I've chosen. There's things that a person can look back on over a year or two. Something like this where you say, wow, where would that have gone had I kept that place? Had I kept that one old collectible that I had? There are times you're going, wow, I was working away thinking I was making no headway with this place. And I thought, wow, I should try to sell it and I should try to squeeze a little profit. And, I did that. But if I'd actually had the place now, it's 5 years later, the place is worth twice as much. The thing you were doing was already working, but you were looking at it from a zoomed out perspective. This can be in relationships. This can be in other goals, in other activities. We need to zoom into these things and break our activities down and break our progress down to the point where we can actually say, hey, I want to see some progress in this time period. Great. Look to what that progress could be. Let's zoom down our expectations, zoom into the picture and say, you know what? Okay, if I could just, let's say I could do this one thing on the property. I was hoping to do a little bit of a tidy up in the yard, and I think that would help the value. And if I could do that and break it down to a number of activities, and again, get it back to activities we're working on today, then you're going to be happier with that investment. You're going to be happier with what you went, where you went with that. You're going to be happier with the things you didn't walk away from or didn't take off on because you weren't feeling the progress. And again, I think it's an important thing. I appreciated the question on that. I hope this idea of zooming in is going to be helpful. I think it'll be very helpful. I think it's going to really change your experience of the whole situation of using this type of system where you're trying to maintain two things, balance and progress in your life in these 7 areas to feel the well-being and to get where it is you're trying to go. And at the end of this one here today, I'm going to repeat the mantra that we've been saying and the mantra that we came up with so that we can keep are anytime we're getting that thing in our mind that's saying, I don't think I'm making enough progress, or the negative self-talk, sometimes I just can't get things to move ahead, or wow, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news that's really knocking my goals off plan, so I'm probably not going to have any progress. There's a million self-talk noises and ideas that can be going on in your head at any one time. And so we have developed this mantra here. I've developed it for the people using the happiness and well-being through balance and progress, the PROWIRC method. And once again, here's the mantra. I am a unique being, separate from my situation. I possess the godlike power of creativity, and I choose the power of creativity and thankfulness over fear, apprehension, or anxiety every minute of every day. Thanks for coming back to the PROWIRC method, and I hope that was helpful today. Hope to see you again soon. If you like this information, if you like what we talk about here, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And keep in mind, not only is the book available on Amazon, it can be there's ebooks, there's the soft cover, which I have here, there's a hardcover. You can also on the website, which is theprowircmethod.com, I have a PDF file which you can buy very cheaply, which actually has all the exercises noted out of the book, because in this book we talk about, one of the things that we do in this book is try to get to know ourselves better. That's how we move things forward. That's how we choose goals and missions and things that are in continuity with our life. And to get to know ourselves better, we do a lot of exercises in the book. We have put those exercises into a PDF file, which are on the website, the PROWIRC method. And please look into that. And again, great to see you again today. Hope to see you back next time soon. If you think this material can help someone else you know, a friend of yours, a colleague, a relative, one of your parents, one of your kids, whoever, whatever, please consider passing it forward, paying it forward, as they say, and say, here's something I've been using. It's kind of starting to work for me, and I appreciate it, and maybe you should take a look at this. And, I do that with people all the time, obviously, because I have the book and I'm working on that. But the main reason I really like to do it is when people get using the items and processes and exercises and things that we have in this book here, just like I'm using them, you really do feel the progress. You really do move ahead. And I really enjoy watching people say, you know what, Ron, I'm using some of these concepts that you have in the book, and yeah, I'm getting some uptake out of that. Once again, hope to see you really soon. Thanks a lot.